Howdy guys, what's up? Chris Zoupa here. I recently learned a song by Darkest Hour called Infinite Eyes, and I thought the solo was so delightful, though slightly obscure. I do a solo lesson for it. So if you haven't heard of these guys or heard much of their new stuff, please stick around. This is a really delicious solo. So let's take a look. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is drop C, which goes C, G, C, F, A, D. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I want to start off with a pull off from 14 to 10 on the first string. And then I'm going to jump to 14 of the second string. And then the next thing I do is I'm going to do a pull off from 12 to 10 on the first and then jump back to 14 of the second string again. Okay, so we're going to extend that now. When I hit 14 of the second string on the second time, I'm going to extend that a little bit further. I'm going to pull off from 14 to 10 on the second string and then jump to 11 of the third string. So we've got... Okay, now the last three notes that I did, I'm going to repeat again. So I'm going to go from 14 to 10 on the second string again, and then I'm going to play 11 of the third string. So I go... At the top of that second group, I'm going to hit 12 of the fourth string. So altogether, this is what we should have. Okay, at the end of that, I'm going to work into this little phrase. So what I'm doing there is a pull off from 14 to 10 on the second string, and then I hit 14 again and slide to 15. So let's try everything we've got thus far one more time. Hopefully that's all making sense. And then I've got this little ascending pattern working into some arpeggios. So the start of that, let's slow that down. I'm sliding from 10 to 12 on the second string and then hitting sort of a fifth interval or a power chord from 14 of the first string. Then I want to slide from 12 to 15 on the second string and then hit 19 of the first string. And then I'm going to slide from 15 to 19 on the second string. And then that's where I'll sort of start working into my arpeggio. So we've got... Okay, then from that point I work into this. So let's slow that down. I've got to pull off from 22 on the first string to 19. And then I slide from 19 to 15 on the second. Sort of go... Okay, and then I've got a flat pinky here. I'm going to play 19 of the first string and second. And then pull off to 15 on the second string. And then finish that on 16 of the third string, sort of go. So I think that's two groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's two groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try from the ascending pattern into those arpeggios, and then we'll do the whole thing together a little bit slower, and then again, even slower with some tabs. Let's take it from the start now. One more time, some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the second section. I want to start with a bend on 17 of the second string. Then I'm going to bring it down and do a pull off from 17 to 14 on the second, and then hit 16 of the third. Then I'm going to do that pull off idea again. So we're going to have pretty much the same three notes twice. So I've got the bend, But at the end of that second group, I'm going to pull off from 16 to 14 on the third string. Okay, and then I go into this phrase. Let's get that chunk and then we'll try the whole thing from the start. So I'm going to go a flat finger here. I'm playing 16 of the fourth, 16 of the third, back to 16 of the fourth. And I'm going to a cheeky major third here. I'm going to hammer 14 to 15. It's kind of cute. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start. A little bit slower. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got to pull off from 16 to 14 on the fourth, and then I jump to 16 of the fifth. Then I'm going to pick everything here. I'm going to play 14, 16, 18 on the fourth and third string. And that was 14, 16, 18. So all together. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got to pull off from 17 to 16 on the first string, and then I jump to 18 of the third. And then to finish that, I'm going to slide from 17 to 19 on the first string, and then finish on 17 of the second. Sort of go. So that's pretty much all of the second section. I'll play it relatively slowly, and then we'll try and do it again with some tabs. One more time, some tabs. All right, let's have a look at the third section. I want to start off with a tone and a half bend from 19 of the second string. So we're going to go from 19 to 22. And I bring it down, give it some sexy vibrato, then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing 17, 19, 17 as a hammer-on into a pull-off, and then jumping to 18 of the third. So all together. At the end of that, I'm doing a full tone bend from 19 of the first string, and then at the top of that at the top of that bend, I'm going to be tapping 22 of the second string. 22 of the first string. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Hopefully that's all making sense. We'll put it all together at the end at a gentleman's pace. But for now, let's move on. I want to have preferably a flat ring here. I'm going to play 16 of the fifth and the fourth string. And just sort of roll that down. We're working kind of through, I guess, what would be in standard tuning an F sharp major arpeggio, just starting from the fifth. After that, I'm going to hammer from 13 to 15 on the third string. And then I've got a flat pointer covering 14 of the second and the first string. So I'm going to go like this. So we're going to have a flat finger, a hammer, and another flat finger. When I get to the bottom string, I'm going to hammer from the 14 to the 16 and then to the 18. So all together. Okay, then we work into two pretty weird kind of arpeggios back to back. I'm going to do 17 to 12 on the first string as a pull-off, and then jump to 14 of the second string. And the next thing I do, I'm going to do a pull-off from 16 to 12, and then roll that pointer to 12 of the second string. So we're going to go. At the end of that second little arpeggio, I'm going to add two notes from 15 to 13 on the third string. So let's try those two 3-note arpeggios and add the two notes at the end. Kind of strange note choice. Let's go from the arpeggio before now. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. We're going to add another little chunk to it, which will be this. I'm going to work up just the higher part of the F sharp major arpeggio, what will be in standard tuning. I'm going to play 15 of the third string, and then I'm going to play 14 of the second and first. Then after that, I'm going to jump back to 14 of the second string, but then I'm going to play 16 of the first string. So we're going to get sort of a power chord fifth interval. Okay, then from there back to 14 of the second, and then I play 18 of the first string. So all together now. Okay, then I want to play 14 again on the second string, and then that last phrase I work through is this. This is all in one pick. Once you've got the momentum behind you, you can pull that off. So I'm doing a semitone bend up and back from 18 of the first string. When I bring it down, I want to pull off 16 to 14. Then from the 14, I'm going to hammer 14 to 16 to 17. And then from that 17, I pull off to the 14, and that'll get us ready for section 4, which is all of those delicious arpeggios. So we're going... Okay, that's pretty much the whole section. Let's take it from that starting bend on 22 of the second string. Sorry, 19 of the second string. One more time, some taps. Alright guys, let's have a look at the fourth section. This is going to be getting quite arpeggio-y, so bear with me. Let's pretend we're in standard tuning for a second. We're going to do essentially what would be a D major arpeggio. So I'm going to pull off from 17 to 14 on the first string. Then I'm going to play 15 of the second and 14 of the third. And then after that, I'm going to play 16 of the fourth string, 17 of the fifth, and then 12 of the fifth. As soon as I hit that 12, I'm going to hammer back into the pinky and then sweep back up to that pointer part of the arpeggio and then pick the 17 at the end. So we're going to go forwards and backwards, just making sure we get the hammer on and pull off in the right spot. So we've got to pull off to start, hammer on here. I pick the 17 on the first string. I want to pull that off back to 14 on the first string. Then I'm going to play 15 of the second and jump back down to 14 of the first. Hopefully that's making sense. I'm going to do exactly the same idea and emphasis, but do it on what would be, once again in standard tuning, a B minor arpeggio. So let's go over the shape first together. I'm going to pull off from 19 to 14 on the first, 15 of the second string. I've got a flat ring covering 16 of the third and fourth string. Then I'm going to play 17 of the fifth, and then hammer from 14 back to the 17. As soon as I finish that hammer, I'm going to ascend through the rest of that arpeggio. At the end of that, I'm going to pull off that 19, go to 14, then play 15 of the second string and go back to the 14 again. So if we look at how the first arpeggio ended, and the second, very similar ideas. We've got the full length of the 5-string sweep and then the little 2-string idea at the bottom. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work through what would be, I guess, in standard tuning, an F-sharp major arpeggio. So I'm going to pull off from 18 to 14 on the first string, play 14 of the second string, then 15 of the third, then I've got a flat ring covering 16 of the fourth and fifth string. Then I want to play 13 from there and hammer in, and we're going to ascend that arpeggio from that point. So I'll show you what we should have. At the end of that, pull off, jump to the string above, and then we're returning to that 14. So if we have a look at all three of those arpeggios back to back, we've got a 5-string span up and back, and then a little 2-string idea at the end. So after that, we're going to work into this phrase. Let's go through this. I've got this little 2-string arpeggio idea twice. I'm going to do a pull off from 21 to 18 on the first and play 19 of the second string. I'm doing that idea without side picking, so I'm starting with the back pick. After I've done that second arpeggio, I work into this phrase. What I'm doing here is I'm playing 17 of the first string to 19 of the second string twice. Then I play 19 of the first to 19 of the second. Back to 17 again. And then the last note I hit is just a single 16 on the first string. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, Okay, so that's the first half of this section. I know it's getting a little bit long, so bear with me. The next part is going to have exactly the same 3 arpeggios at the start. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. So I'm just working through sort of double notes. I'm going to play 14 of the first string twice, and go to 14 of the second, and we're going to keep returning to that note. So then I want to play 16 of the first string twice, and then return to 14 of the second string twice. So we're going to go. And the same idea from 17 of the first string, and at the end of that, I'm going to play 17 of the second string twice, and then end on 2 14s on the second string as well. So we're going to go as our stopping and starting points. We're going to go. So all nice and even. So essentially got the same 3 arpeggios with some different endings. So let's go through it all relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. Then the 3 arpeggios again. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section. Let's start from 14 of the second string. We're going to do a semitone bend from 14 of the second string. Then I bring it down to a regular 14 and vibrato it. And then I want to play 12-11. So all together. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm sliding into 14 of the second string. I'm going to go 14 to 12. And then I'm going to play 14, 13, 14 on the third string. At the end of that, I'm going to play 12 to 14 on the second string, and then cross over to 14 of the third. So all together. So let's go from the start of this section thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. And then we're just sort of borrowing a little lick that we had earlier in the song, which was this. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing 12 of the fourth into 11 of the third. And then I'm going to play 12 of the fourth into 14 of the third. The next thing I do is this. So I've got a shape going from 12 of the fourth, 11 of the third, and 12 of the second. And I'm going to play fourth, third, fourth, second there. So all together. I'm going to lose the pointer here, and I'm going to drag that shape back, so I'm playing 11 of the second string, 11 of the fourth, whilst dampening the third string. And that's the end of the solo. Let's try and do all of the last section relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from Infinite Eyes by Darkest Hour. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all very soon.